Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. We're doing our inspection and I've got a couple of things to show you. This is a 2008 Hilux and we've talked a little bit about on the injector job and oil leaks and on the 1KDs how they don't leak oil and that sort of thing. And if there is an oil leak, there's always a reason. So we're just going to go in and have a look first. There's a couple of things on this vehicle to have a look at. We haven't even lifted it up yet. That's going to happen shortly. But there's a couple of things that I've noticed now. Just to give you some background info, the vehicle's done about 320k. The engine was replaced at 120k. Probably contamination, probably the valve clearance check at 40, 80 or 120. I don't know that much of the history, but they probably, bent the pipes, contamination, and which messed with injectors and cracked a piston, because 120k is quite premature. There's always a reason for it. So let's assume the engine's done about 200,000. Probably needs injectors soon. But at some point, somebody's probably done something with the valve cover, because in 200,000 Ks, these don't leak oil. And I'm just going to try and get in here and show you the oil leak first. You can see the oil around the back of the valve cover. Now, one thing you need to check is if it's cracked at that bolt there, because that's quite common where one of the points they over tighten. And sometimes you can get away with just trying a bit of extra sealant there, because you don't normally put any there, but just it's one of those places there can be a really tiny little crack, and it's 300 bucks for a valve cover, so if you can get around it, it's good. But if you've got one of the bigger cracks, which normally happens up on the back of the cover, round about, sometimes up there, but quite often down around that, I actually can't see at the moment because I'm reaching in there. I'm hoping you can tell me more than I know, because I actually can't see in there. But if we look over the other side, we're going to get up on top here and just sort of have a bit of a look down there, if that works out. You can see all that oil over the other side of the valve cover. We'll try and go in a bit further from around here and see what happens. See all that oil over there? That's usually going to be caused by a crack or something down around the back corner of the valve cover, down in there somewhere, which it's way too dirty. I can't see in there at the moment. I'm just using the camera to show you guys the oil leak and try to give you an idea what it's coming from. So a few other places you can get a bit of a weep around the injector solenoids there, which you can see these ones are dry. At the front here, if people have overfilled the oil, you can get a bit running down the front. That's what all this sort of mess could be down here, because it's just going to run down behind there, down there over that foam. So until that's washed up properly, you don't know if your cam seal is leaking, because if your cam seal leaks, it's also going to leak down there a little bit. In this case, I think it's the oil that's been overflowed a couple of times here and there over the years, and it needs a good proper clean-up. Excuse me. Needs a good proper clean-up before we can sort of work out whether it's the cam seal, whatever the case may be. Now, over this side, what was I thinking about over this side to show you? Okay, a couple of things we've found just on a quick inspection. See down here at the oil filter, the top off that, it's just a cover missing, but also down here there's another one. See that one there? Broken, gone. Now those things, I've never broken one, I've never purchased one, so we haven't had a vehicle come in where we've actually replaced one. I believe from other people telling me, because they've gone in to get the oil filter and got caught on these vacuum lines and busted something off. I think it's usually down here, down this end, busting one of these, probably that one there. When they go to replace those from Toyota, they're a couple $100. So it's kind of a bit of money, I reckon. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now it's broken, but if it's all working, let's not worry about it until, because I don't know what's going to happen. Technically, they're not sealed. They're little covers over there, but they're open. They can breathe. So I'm not saying they're watertight or anything. So there's a good chance, as long as it's not one of your, so if you bust this off, right, whether your vacuum line goes on, you're in trouble. You need to replace it. But if it's just one of the little covers, then let's just leave it, in my opinion, until there's an issue that we know we need to replace it. So that's a couple of things we've seen so far. We've got a bit of an auto electrical problem going on here, and you've seen this before. It's not a massive, it's not the worst one we've seen, but one of the really important ones. I hope you can sort of see it, people that have been watching. Do you want to burn the vehicle to the ground? It's probably not going to happen on its own, but depending what happened, if you went to pull your dipstick out I'm not going to do it as the example here, but look, oh, you know, they get a bit tight sometimes. And you might go to pull it, and then all of a sudden it comes out, and you sort of fall back a bit. And it's not that hard to do, but you know, if that touches over here, we could do a bit of fireworks now, but I'm not into that because we could blow a fuse that's really hard to change. So we're not going to do that. And of course, yeah, can be dangerous. So really, all the positive wires and connections and terminals need to be well insulated to avoid any short circuits. Now, if you're going to start getting into batteries like lithiums and that, another important note, you have a short circuit with lithium, and we're talking big bada boom, so just watch out for that. These batteries, not too bad. Generally, you don't see too many issues, but you can have a battery explode. So beware, you don't want short circuits. Best case scenario, you could burn your vehicle to the ground if you haven't got all the right fuses in place. A couple other issues, you can see we've got circuit breakers facing upwards. Look, that one, it's got some insulation over it, doesn't look too crash hot, you know, it's good that it's covered. But in my opinion, you know, this could have been done a bit neater and it needs a bit of a tidy up. But that's all I really needed to show you under the bonnet. So we'll put the vehicle up on the hoist and have a bit of a look around underneath this Hilux and see if there's anything that's out of the ordinary. Otherwise, we're getting a bit, I think everyone's getting a bit tired of inspection videos. It's all more or less the same, nothing to see here. So we're not going to repeat ourselves on the same stuff, just having a look around. Let's have a look underneath. Here we go, we're just having underneath look around. What I found very interesting with these bull bars, it's a massive bull bar, and it is a bull bar. It's a bloody massive thing. It's tough. I don't think it's a tough bull bar though, but yeah, it is a tough bull bar. There you go, tough. It is a tough. They're alloy and they're tough, but have a look at the mounting system. I'm a bit, I would have liked to use the front of the chassis because putting the force direct on the end of that steel would be best for strength, you'd think. So I would have thought they could utilise the front and a bracket together would have been good, but because of the system, the way they want to do it, whatever, it's up to them. They're the experts, right? It's a big like S bracket, so yeah, I don't know how that'd go. That'd twist. If you hit something hard, that's going to really twist, affect, and bend that front of that chassis upwards and possibly even tear it off, because remember, it's only about 2 mil thick about there. It's going to put a lot of force. Anyway, what would I know? You know, people that have got them and that have hit things, they probably know about it more. Don't worry about the rubber that's deteriorating underneath the bottom of the radiator, that foam stuff, not too worried about that. We've had a bit of a look around. We found a original CV shaft at 320k. May have got damage with the awesome suspension install, may have, could have been something else, but could have been a stick that there was a little hole, who knows. But look, we've got drive shaft boot there, so at 320k, the way to fix that is a brand new genuine shaft. If we look over this side, we can see that it's been replaced at some stage, this shaft. Right, it has been replaced. So, you know, I'd be kind of like, I'd maybe just change the pair of them to new ones and start fresh. He's already got the K-on replacement diff plug in there. That's good. Now, so let's have a look, as far as that oil leak goes, what it looks like from the other end of things. Now, it's going to be hard to see where to watch this aircon pipe. Remember, look, still trying to drip on me. It wasn't dripping, now it's going to drip flat out because I'm standing here. Anyway, you probably can't see, but way up there, there is some oil. It's wet on the back of the head. You can see whatever from that oil leak. So confirm there's no leak at the, I'm going to wait for the next drip and then we're just going to take a quick, come on, drip, come on. Up here at the usual oil leak at the plug at 320k, not happening, probably because the engine's only done about 200. There's a bit of oil on the bottom of the turbo. See that? We see that quite often. You know, it's a bit rare, but it's quite often as well. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm trying to show you. All right, see the turbo? It's a bit wet. I'm not worried about that. Don't worry about it. Just keep it on it, you know. If you went somewhere else, they might say, oh, you need a new turbo, it's leaking, there's oil leaking out, whatever. While it's working and it's only minor, I don't see any drips or mess further down here, so it's a non-issue in my book. This auto pan looks original and like it's never been off. It's had a couple of hits into it. You can see there's one dent there and another one there. I would say that's some pretty average driving because I don't see damage on auto pans. So somebody's gone bush bashing or whatever, fair enough. There's a lot of hits underneath here. We'll just back it up a little bit and you'll see here, right? Bang, into that and they've bent that. That's a pain now for, so I might need to send this video to K-on to let them know they need to include protection for these areas in the bash plate they're designing, because look, it's copped at both sides. Now the control arms here, they can handle it, no problem. But up here, that's going to make things hard to see the bushes to know when they need replacement, and hard to get the arms out. So it needs to be straightened out, and that looks a bit thicker. That could be even 3mm there, a bit stronger. So it's been hit there, it's been hit there, it's been hit here, and the one behind it. So all four have been, so it's really been a kind of bush bashed. It really, this is a perfect vehicle that needs, if it's going to be used like this, or was, if anyone's planning to use a vehicle like this, get the underbody protection in here, because look, you've got plastic right there. Okay, that's not far. Let's have a look at this line. You know, it's just only a little bit further above. Let's use the light for a minute as a sort of straight edge. You got about 10mm there, right? 10mm higher than the chassis there. So whatever. You can see it's been hit quite a bit here. The cross member there's knocked around. Look, lucky it is 3mm, nice and strong. Whatever. The pan's been hit. This cross member's been hit. We've mentioned in Hiluxes because of the ramp over, so this obviously hasn't been out on the tracks where it's been going over the, you know, for the environmental thing on the track to push the water off, because it's not as bad as some, but it's been a little bit knocked around. These are the guards I'd like to see, the standard ones, because when they get hit, they can just sort of, you know, they'll just get pushed in and bent and whatever, but they won't generally break the transfer case itself, where once you put a big guard bolted to the transfer case here, it can break the transfer case. So something to think about. Something else I just saw, look at the chassis. Yeah, definitely a paddock basher. I'll be getting in the chassis trying to clean all that out. It is loaded with debris and stuff like that. I don't know how far the extent of that goes, but it's looking pretty full in there. So big clean out the chassis job. Stick a hose in, the holes up higher, park it on the hill, find where the drain holes are, and you know, just give it a good push out. You have to spend some time doing these sorts of things. So had the recall done on the tail shaft. Down the back there wasn't anything exciting to see, so we're not going to go there. You know, there's a bit of a wire, I noticed a little bit crushed there from the extra water tank, but the water tank's bolted up, so it's not like the weight's sitting on the wire. So but yeah, just a bit of a cleanup down the back end. There wasn't anything exciting down there to see. The fuel tank's still good, so that's good to see. I just think it's been more of a paddock thing, and obviously the front's copped the damage, although there you go, you can see a little bit of a crack in the side of the guard there. So it's just a plastic tank and a plastic guard, so something to be careful of. And that's about it, really. I can't remember that there was anything else exciting to talk about. I can't tell you if these bushes are any good. From what I can see, they actually look all right. I can't see a problem with the front lower control arm bushes on this 320k Hilux. Okay, I can't see an issue, but there's a lot that I can't see because of the way it's been bent, if you know what I mean. A few little twisty cracks there, but that's not bad. It's up on the hoist at the moment, so there's a bit of twist on them, sort of thing. So that's the video, guys. If you liked it, you learned something, hopefully, yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, turn the bell on. We're out of here. See ya.